Hey YouTube, I had gotten a... First of all, I want to thank all the people who says to me to get better. I'm almost there. I decided I need some air, so I'm going for a little walk. And I also want to combine this with a video. Some people had asked me throughout the past year on the channel about, you know, making a video from start to finish of how wood gets processed. And the basic thing I'm going to tell you here is on my property here, this is a red oak. I have a lot of red oak here. Mostly all the trees that are here are red oak, but there's a couple white oak. But this was a red oak here. Oh, I don't know, that's probably about a 20-inch stump. And then there's another one, which is not far from it, maybe a 22 or even 24-inch wide stump. And I had cut these down, and the reason for it was because I wanted more sunlight to hit the greenhouse. So south is looking from the greenhouse into the camera, so south is the opposite direction, and these two trees, this one and this one, were stopping me from getting good sunlight. So what I did was I cut these two down. Now I cut a lot of trees down this year, but these two I cut down in particular. So then after I cut them down, what I did with them was, so then after you cut the trees down, you cut them into sections, and they call that bucking, or, you know, it's just a matter of cutting them to length, whatever length you want. Some of these are 8, some of them are 10. In the back there, I think there's a 12. And all that's for is so that you have the size lumber that you need. It's nice to have longer length, but the longer lengths are also heavier. So what I do then is I cut the tree down, and then I take the limbs off of it naturally. And depending on the size of the limbs, anything from 2 inches and up, I use that for firewood, okay? But anything that's bigger than that, or smaller than that, I mean, I'll run through a chipper. And then I'll take the wood chips and I put them on a path I have over here, which I'll show you. Now I know you may not be able to make these out very well, but you can see like there's a grassy area from here this way. So this is where the chips go. What I do is put wood chips on this path, and it keeps the grass down. Not so much that I can't cut the grass. I can cut this grass easily, but the problem is I want my wife to be able to walk the dog and not worry about snakes laying in the middle of the path. So she can see real well when the wood chips are on the path here. And that's what I've got here. So it goes from the tree, cut the tree down, buck up the logs, cut off the branches, anything smaller than 2 inches goes through my wood chipper, and then I put it on these paths that I have. This path and a bunch of other paths that I go here and there for me to make it easy to walk. So just in keeping with this video, after the tree's cut down, it's bucked, it's delimbed, we put the log on the sawmill, cut it into slabs, or whatever I want, and then we put the lumber into the kiln here, okay? And the kiln handles whatever, like about 2,000 board feet are in here altogether, I believe. Maybe 1,500 board feet. And this is drying in here. And as soon as it gets down to a certain percentage of water content, which is actually, I'm looking for about 9% or less, 7% is better, then it goes into the planer. And then after it's cut on the sawmill, this is mostly pine over here. This stuff was just put into here without doing anything to it except to leave it dry in the greenhouse. Now this is a greenhouse and not a kiln, but it acts like one. This pile here is all red oak. All this stuff is going to be used in the house, or, you know, I'll sell some of it. It all depends on what's going on here. But this is all wood cut right from the sawmill that is going to get planed. And again, I'm making this video for people who asked me about showing things going from the tree to the finished product. So then once I have the lumber available for use, what I do is I go up there in the different rooms in the building, get a little sketch of what the window sills are going to be shaped like, and then I just come back down to the shop and make them. just cut them out and do whatever. Now, like I say, the edges of those sills have to be routed off to be what I'm wanting in the house. But that's how you go from a tree to a finished product that you're using in the house. So like I say, this is a little video is for people that, you know, would like to know the whole process. Now hopefully when it warms up and stuff, I'll be able to do a better one showing the actual processes, jumping from one to the other in one video. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye. So after I bucked the logs and I dragged the logs onto the sawmill, I cut them into boards. Now it just so happens that this piece of wood here, this oak, has been made into a windowsill for this window that I'm putting in the houses. Or not the windows in the house, I'm just putting windowsills. Now this isn't finished. I want to put a nice router edge on here. My grandson cut these for me and I just want them to see how they fit the other day. So there'll be trim around the whole window, you know, oak trim, and then a piece of trim underneath the windowsill. But that's actually the finished board. Now these same boards in red oak at Lowe's, you're looking at $6 to $8 a board foot, which is, you know, for a 1x like this, probably you're looking at about this much wood. And I know most of you guys know this stuff, and I'm not really making this video for the old timers. It's more or less for the young people starting out, so they know you can get quality stuff that you can use in a home and save yourself some money rather than buying this stuff if you have the sawmill. So this wood's been planed, it's been cut, put into my kiln, dried, and planed. And there you have a nice windowsill there. Like I say, I'm going to router the edge and put a nice fancy edge on it and then trim around the window. Okay, Bullseye's trying to cut a tree down there for me. You better watch it doesn't fall on his head. Come on, boy. Hey!